Hi, my name's Vivian Davis, and this is another one of my stories, Family Tales, T-A-L-E-S instead of T-A-L-E-S, but it's going to sound like a T-A-L-E-S. Anyway, I'm sitting in front of my nephew and niece's tree, and this is the day after Christmas, and I'm here alone, and I thought this is a good time. This is what they gave me for Christmas. I got my Christmas pajamas on. Anyway, I decided I would tell you the story about, oh, hush, they all want to be out. I want to tell you the story about my Aunt Marlene trying to learn to drive and get her driver's license and what happened during her time and about my Uncle Chuck. Anyway, I'm trying to remember the name of the highway. There's a highway that I think it's 59 is the name of the highway that runs up through the mountains up through Collinsville. Anyway, when they were building that, they used to blast out mounts and stuff, and I mean, it's way on the other side of Nakalula Falls, which is miles from the house, but it would make our windows rattle. Anyway, but when they were building that, that was about the time that my Aunt Marlene decided she wanted to get her driver's license. Now, she was already up in her I think she was in her mid to late 20s. She waited that long before she tried to get a driver's license because she was just scared. Anyway, Mama said, I'll teach you to drive. We'll go on over there where they're building the freeway, and that'll be a good place for you to learn how to drive. And so Daddy had got a new truck. I think it was a Chevrolet pickup truck, and it was a straight shift. And that was what Mama was going to use to teach Aunt Marlene how to drive. And so they loaded up all the kids and my Aunt Peggy and Uncle Chuck. Well, they wouldn't let us sit on the tailgate, but they'd let Uncle Chuck and Aunt Peggy, who was about 5 to 8 years older than us, sit on the tailgate. We were still, like 6, 7. Anyway, they were going along, and they were on a hill, and halfway up this great big gigantic hill, there was a boulder that was still out in the middle where they hadn't blown it up and dug it up out of the middle where they were planning to make the freeway. And so when she got to that boulder, instead of steering around that boulder, now Chuck and Peggy were sitting on the tailgate, and the tailgate was down, and she was trying to get up the hill, and the wheels were spinning, and she was trying to figure out how to use the clutch and make it up the hill, and she popped that clutch, and when she did that thing, lunged forward, and when it lunged forward, it run up over that big old boulder, and when she went up over that boulder, she popped down on the other side of that boulder where the tailgate come up, and when the tailgate popped up, it popped Uncle Chuck off the back of that tailgate. Well, this hill was high and it was steep. This boulder was in the middle of the road on. And whenever he popped off that tailgate, he had on a pair of them Walmart Wranglers back in the day that were so stiff when you first get them. I mean, they were stiff before they were washed, but they were still stiff after they were washed. Whatever they were made of, they were heavy duty. And they weren't that comfortable. You had to break them in. But anyway, he had on a brand new pair of them. He popped off the end of that tailgate, bam, hit the ground, bounce, just like a cartoon. I mean, Looney Tunes has got nothing on what really happened. I swear to you, he was bouncing like a ball all the way down on his butt, bless his heart. All the way down, bam, 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 bam. We got down to the end of the thing. The whole back end was out of them brand new pair of Wranglers. And his butt was bleeding, of course, and he was hurting and he was sore. And they had to stop and turn around and go back and get him and help him back in the truck. But anyway, so Mama Sims had just bought them for school, and he didn't have any, and so she was pissed that he'd messed up his pants, and pissed at Mama and them for allowing him to ride up there to get his pants messed up. And of course, they really wasn't worried about how hard his ass was hurting. I swear I came from that kind of family. They were more worried about how they were going to buy them more pants. But anyway, so Aunt Marlene was having a dickens of a time, and finally, I mean, after a couple of days of Mama trying, I mean, they tried for hours and hours, and Aunt Marlene just wasn't getting it. She was just so nervous. Every time she'd think about it, Mama said, well, hell, I look just like you. I'll just go take your driver's test for you. And that's what she did. She went, She told them she was Aunt Marlene. They took her picture. She wrote Aunt Marlene's birthday on there, signed Aunt Marlene's name, and got Aunt Marlene's driver's license for her. Aunt Marlene never took a driver's test, but she got driver's license. And that's how Aunt Marlene got her driver's license. And how Uncle Chuck bounced like a ball on a cartoon down the hill and lost the back end of his pants.